Hi guys, so today we're filming a highly requested video, how I apply my press-on nails for nails that last 3 weeks. Honestly, I know you guys have been wanting this video for like a year and a half. I have been wanting to make it, but I have just been trying to refine my process as much as I could so that it was like a really good place with tips and advice to share with you. This is literally the master video. So I split it into must-knows, products, application, FAQs. And as always, I'll have chapters added so you can navigate as you want. Hopefully this video is super helpful. Please like and subscribe, and let's just go straight into it. This is going to be that how-to portion of this video where I basically go over 3 key things that are like fundamental to applying press-ons that last. First point, before you even have made the press-ons, make sure that the extension tips you're using are ones that actually have like a really good fit to your natural nail bed. This just makes the application and the retention so much better. There's definitely some trial and error involved with this. For example, I've gone through so many brands of press-ons, from Amazon ones, Cocois, Jello Jello, Après, Soft Gel, Daimi, and I always come back to the Daimi ones. That's both these corn tips, also their slim square long and slim square short fit me really well. I have a very small nail beds and they're quite flat as well, especially my index nails and my thumbnails. So for example, this is 6.5. This is what I use for both my ring and my index. That is a really good fit that way. Also, this way, it's like a really good flush fit. There isn't really much of a gap there, but there is a bit more of a gap there. The better the fit to your natural nail bed, the less glue you have to use, the more likely your retention is going to be longer. And then similarly, let's say you've made the nails and they have maybe curved a bit too much, so they're not as flush as a fit as when you had the base nails. You can go in with a hairdryer and wrap the press-on in a paper towel, blow dry it for like 60 seconds on a high heat, and then immediately take like a cylinder. I usually use like skincare or a lip balm. Press this against whatever you're using just to flatten it out. If you do this a few times, 3-4 times, it should slowly flatten it out without snapping it. I've done that in the past with good success. Tip number 2, apply your press-ons before you go to sleep. It's currently midnight. I have done all of my skincare. The reason you want to do this is so that you can give the glue like a good 8 hours to fully set overnight. And you also want to make sure you avoid water contact for those whole 8 hours. Hence, I will do my skincare, brush my teeth, and then apply my nails and literally go to sleep. And on sleeping, I try to sleep in a position where I am not putting pressure on my hands or my nails. I kind of trained myself to do this. Usually I sleep on my back. I also won't apply any kind of like cuticle oil on my nails until the morning as well. Third final point, just about nail health and just like the base that you're applying your press-ons to. This is what my nails currently look like, my thumbnails. You can see on my non-dominant hand, these two are like quite long. This is kind of like an ideal length of free edge that I would probably apply a press-on to. These two I might file down a little bit. This index is probably the minimum that I would apply to. My dominant hand, she's going through it because it's winter. This is fine. These two are also probably the minimum that I would apply to lengthwise. My thumbnails look like this. This is probably like a good amount of length, but I might even cut these down a little bit more as well. And on this thumbnail, I also have like a slight break from the side, so I will not apply my peel-off base coat on this specific bit. This pinky, I did have an accident with a loose thread, literally like a loose thread sliced half my nail here, and then the rest was gone for. I probably wouldn't apply with this method on this nail. I'm going to use a sticky tab for this until it grows out a little bit more. The reason why I want to highlight this point is because I'm using peel-off base coat, I want to prevent any contact of the peel-off base coat with my skin, but also any contact of the glue with my skin. If it's too long, it helps the retention because there's more nail basically reinforcing the press-on to stay on your nail and stay flat. But at the same time, it makes removal really difficult and your nails can get stuck. The foundation that you're applying nails to is really important for retention. And make sure that you're not applying to really damaged nails either. Health is wealth. It's better to do things safely and be able to do them for a long time than apply on damaged nails and continue that damage. Also, just jumping in whilst I'm editing this video to add, I haven't mentioned nail prep, like buffing, pushing your cuticles back. That's because I don't actually do that. I'll share more information on why at the end of this video in the FAQ section, but of course, feel free to prep your nails as you want. Also, there's a lot of information in this video, so I have made a how to apply press-on nails that last digital guide that you can download, including all the info in this video, plus bonus tips and the step-by-step visual tutorial for how I apply my nails in a vertical format so you can download it easily and use it on your phone or tablet. The link for that will be in the description on my Ko-fi. Now on to products. Here is everything that I use products-wise to apply my press-on nails. Not pictured is obviously my curing lamp. I use the Cocoist Infinity UV LED lamp. Super important when you are applying any gel to use a full curing unit. Don't use any of those mini ones. Firstly, I have two kinds of gloves, protective UV gloves. This is optional, but I just like to wear them to prevent unnecessary contact from the lamp. I also have two sizes of black nitrile gloves, medium and large. I basically wear these on my other hand like this. So I'll be applying to this hand and then basically just to avoid contact with the primer, any spills with the peel-off base gel or glue, because I just don't want to get anything on my skin. And then when I'm doing my second hand, I wear the larger glove size because obviously there's like extension tips, right? Jewel forms. For any nails that are quite short, I put a jewel form underneath when I am painting the primer and peel off base gel. And then I'll take it off before I glue the press-on on. And then for nail prep and wiping the inhibition layer, isopropyl alcohol, you can do two options. So you can have, you know, your 99% isopropyl alcohol in like a pump and use lint-free wipes, or you can use these nail prep and wipes. They do the same thing. It's just whatever your preference is, whatever you have to hand. These are more convenient because the alcohol is in the wipe, but then you have to open the pack every time, which is not convenient. So sometimes just having a container that you can just quickly grab a wipe, press down, and then wipe is actually easier and quicker. Plastic cuticle sticks. I use these in case I need to quickly clean up any of the air dry glue from around the sides if I accidentally overball it or if it leaks, because as mentioned, glue is still chemicals. You don't want to make skin contact if you can avoid it, but accidents inevitably happen sometimes. I personally recommend the plastic ones a lot more just because they're smoother against the skin rather than like the wooden ones. These are the three core products that I use and I have used for like a year and a half, 2 years. My ride or dies. So this is the Daimi primer. Honestly, Daimi just make really great products. I don't use a dedicated dehydrator. Usually I'll just dehydrate my nails beforehand with the isopropyl alcohol. Jello Jello peel off base gel. I have seen they've recently reformulated this to be HEMA free and I believe TPO free as well now due to the EU ban. This is the old formula. I do not know how the new formula works, but I love her. Yes, removal is not the easiest with this, but it is a lot easier than the Korea. If you know, you know. If you want to see my experience with the Korea peel off base coat, you can go over onto my Instagram. But yeah, Jello Jello, she's good. You see everybody use her for good reason. Glue wise, Lucanus pudding glue. I have so many backups of this glue. I love it. It is a air dry glue. That's super important to know. If you are doing this method, do not by any means use a UV curable glue under your press-on nails. It will not cure fully. It may seem like it's hardened. Gel can be hard at 50% cured. And then for the whole duration that you're wearing those nails, you may have uncured chemicals slowly seeping into your skin. And that's where allergies, contact dermatitis can come into play. So please, please, please use an air dry glue with your press-ons. This goes for if your press-ons are semi-sheer or opaque, use an air dry glue. But Lucanus Putty Nail Glue, this is a thick viscosity air dry nail glue, which is why I love it. It's a Korean brand. There are recently also a couple of alternative thicker viscosity nail glues that you can use have been launched over the past year, the main one being the Alder nail glue. I've not tried this yet. I will test it next time I apply nails. And then of course, lastly, you also want to have your press-on nails that you're applying. These are my snowberry nails. If you're interested in seeing how I made them, then you can go and watch my previous video, but I love them. So this is everything. I'll leave links to everything I can in the description as well. It makes your life so much easier if you prep everything beforehand. I already like prepped and filed my nails down, so I'm just going to give them a quick wipe with alcohol. First step, Daimi primer. And then Jello Jello peel off base gel. Just be careful with this, as always, it is gel. Make sure you don't get it on your skin. And also, because this is pretty much like the same one, same peel off base coat that I use, I do repurchase this every so often, every like 2 years, just so that I have like a fresh one and it's not quote unquote expired. If I zoom you in super far, you can see I've left like a little bit of a border around the nails. I've not gone exactly all the way up to the cuticle or the edge. That's on purpose. That helps with retention. If you want easier removal, then you can obviously go up to the edge more. But if you want longer retention, then keep a bit of a gap. You can see the kind of like gaps that I've left on everything. I always just double check as well, just to make sure that there's nothing on my skin before I cure, although obviously I'm super careful with it. I do 2 times 60-second cures just to make sure that everything is literally as cured as possible. And then you'll see the nails look like this, so they're like super shiny. There's gonna be some inhibition layer on this. Inhibition layer, for anybody that doesn't know, is just a layer of uncured gel on the surface. When you cure gel, even if it's a non-white gel, there'll always be some level of uncured gel on the top, just because of the nature of how it cures. So I'm gonna wipe this off. I also find this helps with retention, and this is why we have our alcohol and a wipe. You want to kind of like grab it like this and then pull down. And then hopefully you can see it's still shiny, but it's a little bit more matte. You can see that. Now we begin with a nail time. Honestly, how much glue to apply is the most difficult part. And it's actually the reason why I've been so hesitant to make this video for like a year and a half, because my application is not perfect. I'll be fully honest with you guys. Gauging how much glue to use is a constant work in progress. And it's because, as I mentioned earlier, I have my thumb and my index are a lot flatter, and then these nails are a bit more curved. So the Diami corn tips fit really well on these three, so I don't need as much glue for them. And then these two, I need like a lot more glue. And also the amount of glue you need depends on like how much free edge you need to cover as well. And it's never like a one size fits all kind of thing. There's just so many variables. The way I generally try to do it is for these nails that are a better fit to my natural nail bed, I will fill like up to a third of like my nail. That makes sense. So like this is my nail. I'd go to like here. For these ones that need more glue, I'll usually do like a half of this area, like kind of filling it up to the top of the tip so I don't extend over. And when I apply it, I'll follow the Gel X method. So I will go in at like this kind of 45-degree angle at the cuticle, and then I'll pull it down, hold for like 5 to 10 seconds. And I do a little bit of acrobatics, so I will basically move it so that my glove is holding this part down against my finger, and I'll check that the glue has gone up to the free edge on the underneath. And when I apply it, I try to avoid flooding glue at the cuticle. Try to kind of build most of it in this part here so that obviously it doesn't spill over the cuticle part when you apply it. There's a lot of factors that go into it. You get better at it as you go. I'll just show you. Okay, so this is a like half full tube that I found, so I'm gonna use this. the older this glue is, the more tacky it is as well. So when it's fresh, it's like a lot cleaner. But hopefully you can see where I filled it up to, like that, for this nail. And then I will push it down here until the glue kind of like pokes up the sides. And then you can see, I'll hold it there for for a few seconds. And you'll see, this is what the nail looks like. I would say that's actually a pretty perfect application. Just, yeah, I think that's fine. So I'll just give you a close up. You can see, and then hopefully you can see that there, like it's just come over the lip of the free edge, but I've not flooded it. So that's one down. Now like 8 more to go. Do any cleanup as you need as you go. Okay, we're moving on to my index now. As mentioned, this one I'll filter like halfway because my index is flatter. Like the nail is flatter, so the gap is bigger between my natural nail and the press-on. And if you're applying more glue, just make sure to concentrate it away from the cuticle. So you see there, roughly where I've applied it to is like here. Oh my God, that was basically perfect. This one, because their gap is like bigger, I find I need to kind of hold it down a bit more, like for longer, just because it tends to bounce up when you leave the pressure on it, like when you lift the pressure. And it can kind of cause like air bubbles. You don't want those air bubbles, but it's actually fine. I'll show you in a moment. If you, oh my God, they're like weapons. Oh, I love them so much. Okay, let's do my thumbnail. I always need a huge wad of glue for my thumbnail. Again, it's up to like here. Thumbnail's a bit more tricky to apply as well, so please do not mind me. Okay, I actually added too much on that. So if you do this, then I'll just go in and kind of like spread the excess out, to be honest. Or like scoop it off, whichever makes the most sense. I won't really remove too much of it though, because the thumbnail's like kind of prone to lifting a bit more and like having air bubbles. I usually just leave kind of like any excess there. Okay. Ta-da! That is one hand done. This hand is always like my best application, and then my second hand is always like a bit questionable. But I'll show you a close-up. Okay, you see? And then underneath. So yeah, that's basically my process. I'll show you a couple of pointers for how I use the dual forms, but otherwise I'll do the second hand off camera. Obviously, like same as how you would use any kind of dual form, but I leave it like that, and then I paint the primer and the Jello Jello on this. When you paint the Jello Jello, make sure not to actually get like the Jello Jello on the form. So I find it's easiest if you kind of like lift the form a little downwards like this, so that you actually have like a slight gap there. That gap helps prevent obviously the peel off base from going onto the form. And then after you cure the Jello Jello, then I'll just take the form off and apply the glue as normal. I don't actually think I need to put a jewel form onto these because I have like a little bit of free edge there. I'm going to repeat the same on this hand. This is why you want a larger glove, because I have so much nail here now. But yeah, guys, that's it for the glue application. Oh my god, look how gorgeous they look. I'm gonna quickly apply this one with a sticky tab. I have these sticky tabs from Japan, from Nail Tat in Japan. It's a brand. I'll put the image of what the packaging looks like. These come in two types. So they come in a 0.25 millimeter and then a 0.5 millimeter. This is the 0.25 millimeters, so the thinner one, because obviously this nail's pretty like flush. So I'm just gonna do primer and then just the sticky tab. When applying sticky tabs, you want to leave it again like a slight gap around the edge. So you want one that fits close to the edge but not right up to the edge, so that the edge is sealed. So I'm thinking I'll probably go with the smallest one. Kind of like this. So you'd even have a bit of a bigger gap, but obviously this nail tip is really small because my nails are really small. A gap around the edges so that that sits flush to your nail and basically like seals the sticky tab in. I'm gonna go maybe heat this up for 20 seconds with my hairdryer. And then we can apply. Yeah, I don't really know how successful this is going to be because you can see the sticky tab overhanging. But we'll see. We'll see how long it lasts. I'll report back. I'll put on screen now. How long did this sticky tab application last? But yeah, it's pretty quick to like redo anyway. It's better than, you know, risking getting chemicals on my damaged nail. And so yeah, this is what the nails look like, guys. Full set. Oh my god, aren't they? Aren't they gorgeous? FAQ section. I have received many questions over the past year and a half since I've been uploading my Apply Nails with Me shorts. So I've compiled all of my common questions into this section. I split it into retention, products, application, and removal. You can use these timestamps to navigate to each set of questions. Okay, so one of the top 2 questions I get asked is how long do they last? Obviously, as I've already mentioned in the title and probably earlier in the video as well, average 19 to 22 days. So basically 3 weeks pretty much. And that's like a tried and true duration. Also, I did go on a solo travel trip last October to South Korea and Japan. That trip in total was 2.5 weeks and they lasted the whole duration. I overpack as well, so they lasted all throughout my repeat unpacking and packing, going through airports, getting on planes, security, you know, all of that stuff. So I'd say this method, it works. Similarly, how do I get my press-ons to last so long is a bit more of a bulky answer. There's like a lot of tips and things that I can share on that. So if you're interested in that video, please let me know down in the comments and I'm happy to make it as its own video. Jumping in again from editing, just to mention that I have included some of these bonus tips in my how to apply nails that last digital guide as well. So if you're interested in a sneak peek to those, as well as a very simple breakdown of all the information in this video and the visual step-by-step tutorials that you can bring up easily on your phone or tablet, then the links for that will be in the description on my Ko-Fi. Products wise, so what products do you use? What glue is that? What peel-off base coat is that? You know, like basically everybody asks about the products, especially the Lucanus pudding nail glue. All the products that I used in this video are the products that I have used for the past 2 years. Very, again, tried and true method. I love these products. I tend not to deviate from them and I tend not to deviate from this method either. The only exception would just be doing the Korea peel-off base coat wear test in September. Specifically on the point of what nail glue do I use, it has always been the Lucanus pudding nail glue for the last like year and a half. The most important thing, and I need to emphasize this so much, do not use a UV curable glue with your press-on nails because it cannot cure fully through the press-on nail. It may seem hard, but gel can harden at like 50% cured, and you need like the full transparency for the light to hit through and cure the rest of that 50%, so like the whole 100% of the gel. This is why please do not use UV curable glue with your press-on nails. I know there's so many videos online, which I think is just really, I could rant for a while on this point, but I just think it's super irresponsible and harmful to consumers for brands, creators online to show them applying press-ons, like opaque or semi-sheer press-ons with UV curable glue, because it's not going to cure all the way and it's really risky. It's so risky. You risk permanent allergies, you risk contact dermatitis, because like the rest of that gel that has not cured is just going to slowly seep into your skin over time, over those like 2, 3, 4 weeks that you're wearing it. So please, I cannot emphasize this point enough. Only use air dry glue. As mentioned, I used the Lucanus pudding nail glue. I know this one is not super accessible. The main ways I buy it is importing it from Korean retailers, or I also bulk bought a lot of it when I was in the nail mall in Dongdaemun in Seoul last autumn as well, so I have like a pretty good stack. If you're interested in buying this glue for yourself, feel free to DM me on Instagram. I can potentially help you with that. Otherwise, some alternatives. I know that Alda now have their press-on glue, which is supposedly a little bit thicker, and also Dashing Diva glue I think is also thicker as well. Obviously, I've not tried either of those yet. Please do let me know though if you want tests for any specific brands. So different peel-off base coats, like I know Pocket have a peel-off base coat as well, or different nail glue tests, then let me know in the comments. I'm more than happy to do that for you guys. The only thing to note is that I'm in the UK, so I don't have full access to a lot of like American only products. That's why I don't have the Dashing Diva glue. And that's actually why I went on a search to find another kind of like thick viscosity air dry pudding glue, because I didn't have access to Dashing Diva in the beginning. Sorry, a bit of a long-winded answer to that, but I just think that information is so important to continue emphasizing because there's so much misinformation. Similarly, this is a question I got as well. Do I prefer glue or sticky tabs? I'd say like glue 90% of the time, and that's mainly because I have small, flatter nail beds. So like, it's just not that easy for me to find sticky tabs that work for me. I've done it now and then. If I have like a damaged nail, then I'll use a sticky tab on it whilst it grows out. Or if I just want like 5 days wear, then I'll go with sticky tabs. I did use sticky tabs in like April, March time this year, and they lasted about 5 days. Another question I get, why use the primer? The purpose of the primer is for retention. I think it chemically etches the nail, but I'll fact check myself here. I have it, I use it, it works, so I continue using it. I don't have a dedicated dehydrator just because I use isopropyl alcohol for that. I feel like it does mostly the same job. Okay, application questions. Why don't I buff my nails beforehand? Honestly, because I don't feel the need to. Like, I have pretty dry, thin, and brittle nails, so I don't really want to buff away more of my nail than I need to. And for me personally, this method already lasts like 3 weeks, which is pretty much the amount of time that I would want to wear a set for anyway. So I don't need any more adhesion. So yeah, those 2 reasons. Then why do I apply further from my cuticle? I don't really do much cuticle care. I like pushing them back. And I also tend to leave like a little bit of a gap when I apply. The reason for this kind of like twofold again. So A, the look of this does not bother me. Like, I like how this looks. I feel like I'm pretty fortunate that I have quite nice nails anyway, so I don't really have like a lot of cuticle to push back, and I don't want to mess up my nails. Like, I don't want to accidentally cut myself or remove more than I need to, especially if I'm then going to be putting chemicals near it. Like, I like how this looks, so what's the point in doing more? Similarly, if I apply my press-on like a little bit away from my cuticle, it just means that there's less risk of exposure with the glue touching my skin if there's any like spillage. So yeah, those 2 main reasons. Like, I had a comment one time where they were like, oh, your placement is bad. And I was like, but this is what I like. I feel like the point of nails is ultimately to make us feel good. It's like a little confidence boost. Like, it's just nice to exist in the world with pretty nails. And I think we should be free to wear nails however we enjoy, however we wish, as long as it's not harming anyone or yourself, you know? Okay, and then lastly, just some questions on removal. So what is the removal like? I already have a full how to remove press-on nails video up on my channel. I'll link it in the description. It's from like January, February time this year. So yeah, my removal has not really changed since then. It takes me like an hour usually to remove, and I'll use the Jello Jello remover that comes with a peel-off base coat. And because it takes me an hour to remove, some people have commented on that video saying, what's the point of this method if removal takes so long? Because like, yeah, if you're gonna use acetone to remove your gel, or you're gonna file your gel down, that probably would take like about the same amount of time, like 30 minutes to an hour or something like that. So the main benefit of this method is that you can keep your press-ons. When you remove them, you still have your press-on like fully intact. That can't happen if you're using acetone to like melt them down and scrape them off, or you're using a file to file them off. Also, as you'll see, like, I applied the peel-off base coat into like the center of my nail, and that's for retention purposes. That's so that my retention can be longer. If you want removal to be easier, you can apply the peel-off base coat like closer to the edge of your nail. I've just not personally tested that because for me, I prioritize retention. Last question, are they reusable? Yes. The answer is yes. If you do this method, they are reusable. And because there's like remnants of the pudding glue left on the press-ons when you remove them, that actually means it's like a flush fit to an actual nail, if you think about it that way. So if you wanted to reapply them, you probably just clean them up a little bit, and then just use like a thin glue to reapply them. Or you can file the whole amount of glue off and use like pudding glue again or sticky tabs again. You know, like, they are reusable using this method. And although I personally never rewear them, because I like to move on to the next design, the next set, because for me, this is like creativity, it's art. I can then display them. So for example, this is my on box. This is what I use to store all my press-ons. It's gonna be maybe a little bit difficult to show you, but ta-da! If you want to see like a full tour, that's already on my channel in like one of my nail desk organization videos. But yeah, you can store them like this. And isn't that just so cool? It's so cool to see all of your art in one place. Like, isn't that just so cool to create art, wear art, and then see all the art that you've made and appreciate like the progress and the journey that you go on? Yeah. I just love it. I love nails. So that's all the questions and the whole video. So I hope this was super helpful for you. As always, I'll link what I can in the description. Otherwise, if you want help sourcing anything, then you can DM me on Instagram or TikTok as well. Or if you don't have either of those, then feel free to email me. This is my email here. Similarly, if you have any like product test requests or questions, leave them in the comments. I'm more than happy to answer and help where I can. Because yeah, basically there's 3 reasons why I started my channel. I wanted to share my art, connect with people, and also, most importantly, help people, like share my knowledge and my journey, and hopefully it can help you guys as well. If you did find this video helpful, then please do give it a like and subscribe if you want to see more gel nails content like this. My plan is to make these how-to videos more frequent on my channel, and I have a lot of ideas, and especially for 2026 as well. I always tend to do this nowadays, but question of the video, how long do you usually wear your nails for? I feel like this is such a personal thing. Some people are pushing their press-ons to like 3-4 weeks, whereas other people are like, nah, 1 week and I'm done. Super interested to know. Please let me know in the comments. All my links and discount codes are in the description as well. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye. No, my Smisky. He fell off. Bro, my white tuck is not white tucking anymore. It should be fine. Okay, cool.